Welcome back. You're watching Commodity Champions. We now shift our focus to gourmet and luxury teas. The segment that currently makes up for nearly 5% of the total tea market is witnessing a rise in popularity. So how are the players capitalizing on this trend? Joining me now to discuss that and more is Isha Mehta. She's founder at Satori Tea. Isha, hi, good to have you. You know, from an everyday beverage to the cutting chai on the street side to occasions and corporate gifting to luxury to desserts to cocktails to blends, there's so much that tea has really done in last few years. How do you look at the market? One, how has the growth been and adoption as well?
Hi, Manisha. Thank you for having me. So with luxury tea, there's definitely a sense of curiosity and willingness and openness from customers today. They want to try new things. They want to have different experiences. India produces some of the finest loose leaf teas, most of which have always been exported. But now you're seeing a slight change where consumers are seeking to have these experiences. Hojicha, for instance, one of our green teas, we thought it would be difficult to push this particular tea in the Indian market, but surprisingly, it's doing really well. And it's a fitting example to see how the consumer is evolving and is looking to try new experiences and different flavor profiles.
Absolutely. You know, Isha, as Bala was also suggesting, that the Make in India tea really seems to be doing well. I mean, for the longest time, we've been exporting good quality teas. But how strong is, procuring sustainability, those aspects coming within the tea market too?
So the orthodox tea industry in India, where I refer to the loose leaf teas and not CTC teas, is a relatively small scale market industry. And it is struggling, but there is definitely a demand for it. And brands such as ours, niche brands, are trying to bring these about to Indian consumers themselves and create awareness that we do make good quality teas. But with Indians, it's a struggle where there's relatively lack of awareness within the orthodox tea market. And if the same teas were to be packaged by an international tea brand and then come, people would be interested and pick that up. But this used to be 5 years ago. Now there's a big change in this.
Absolutely. Also, while of course tea is an everyday thing, but tea really seems to have gotten into the gifting part of it as well. So whether it's about corporate gifting, you talk about the wellness aspect of it, the various blends that tea has seen come into the foray as well. How do you see that market doing going forward?
So gifting is where majority of the sales happen when it comes to tea. Consumers today are more mindful and conscious when they do give a gift or receive a gift. Wedding favors are a big one where bride and grooms today even take that extra step where they'd like to create a unique blend just for the specific occasion. So gifting, hands down, tea is like the first thing people want to go to.
All right. So, when you look at millennials, or as you said, it's about weddings, it's about corporate gifting, where tea really seems to be inching up on the ranks there. So what are the major buyers here? And also what geographies for you within India seem to be doing better?
So with regards to gifting, it's festivals, occasions. Usually they come from metros, but we are seeing a slight change from tier 2 cities as well, with repeat purchases and inquiries for bulk orders and gifting. So like I mentioned earlier, that awareness is growing, curiosity is growing, and that need to want to experiment new flavors is definitely there within the Indian market.
There is a thing about procurement and traceability as something that the millennials really seem to be following up on. So when it comes to tea, where are we within that?
So I'd speak for a brand such as mine. Satori focuses on promoting specifically Indian origin teas. We source them directly from the estates themselves. And we also promote local produce, local ingredients, where we use these local ingredients to blend the teas without using any artificial flavoring, which sort of is transparent in itself. It's sustainable. We are in touch with the farmers, or we work with farmer cooperatives who guide the entire process to ensure that there's transparency.
Isha, also, what blends do you work with? What is the market looking at? What is the kind of feedback when it comes to tea as an industry on what is the consumer looking for?
So the Indian consumer definitely seems to love blends. It's always a go-to compared to just the tea in itself, because it seems more enticing and exciting to try a combination of things. But there is also the consumer who is known to tea, like who understands tea in the deeper sense, how coffee is already very known and understood. So there is a balance between the two, but definitely blends would always win.
You know, there have been various reports suggesting that when it comes to tea growers, 51% of the market really belongs to small tea collaborators and small tea growers instead of the brands. That brand number seems to be going down now. With so many more people now coming within the tea business, is it increasing competition for you as well, or do you think there's enough space for everybody?
Definitely. So when we started off, there were very few brands within this space. It's been about 5 years now, and there's been an influx of, I can't even name the number. Before I could have them on my fingertips. Now there's been an influx of so many brands that have come together. Some that specifically only focus on gifting itself. So yeah, the competition is increasing.
Okay. Also, Isha, you know, the whole trend seems to be changing. There are tea coffees, cafes, tea lounges, and then there is online sales. And as you said, there are some startups who only want to do tea gifting, only want to be in that category. What do you think on how the market is evolving and where are we headed?
I feel that there is demand for having experiences like Bala also spoke about earlier. To create tea experience zones or tea experience spaces, which help people to connect with themselves in the larger sense. And sorry, could you repeat your question? I just forgot the latter part.
I was asking on how do you look at the market going forward from here? On what do you think will sustain, will stay on?
Definitely experiences, to create these experiences to help people understand better. Coffee has already dominated it. Coffee culture is well known and well understood, but tea in itself is unexplored, and there's so much more that tea has to offer in itself. Be it tea tasting sessions, tea meditations, just understanding the product in its authentic self itself. So yes.
All right, tea tasting sessions I had heard of, tea meditation I hadn't, so clearly a lot more happening when it happens on tea. Thank you so much, Isha, for joining us, and that's all about the tea, piping hot clearly as our experts tell us. But with that, that's all that we have on this edition of Commodity Champions. Thank you for watching.